1, 2, 3, 4. We are five girls separated by geography. We've never met in person, but it's like we're family. Girl stuff is our thoughts and feelings that we want to share with you. So listen as we spill the tea. Drop the mic and do what we do.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
I'm Ella.
I'm Mel.
I'm Taylor.
I'm DAYA.
And today we have an incredibly special guest for our first guest episode of Girl Stuff. And I think that she needs no introduction. And please, everyone, welcome the wonderful Kashmir Preston.
Surprise! Shut it!
Oh!
So precious.
That's iconic. I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Hello. We are so honored to have you as our first ever guest on Girl Stuff. I know we said this to you during our pre-interview, but when we were first creating Girl Stuff, like Hannah and I just talked to each other and we are like, we need Kash as our first guest because she's so absolutely incredible. And I'm sure everyone who's watching probably already knows who you are, but just for the sake of the show, do you mind giving a little introduction on who you are, what you do, and sort of how our paths ended up crossing?
So hi, I'm Kashmir, or people call me Kash, whichever is easier for you. I'm a simp. That's literally what it is. I make TikToks about Julie and the Phantoms. Lately, I've been like venturing into other things, talking about other like TV shows and stuff. But yeah, it all started because I watched Julie and the Phantoms and I didn't want to talk about it to my friends because they were going to look at me like I was insane. So I just made TikToks about it and people saw them, people liked them. I don't know why, but here we are, 4 months later, 3 months-ish. So
feels like forever. It feels like forever.
Yeah.
Feels like a lifetime. Yeah, I mean, in terms of your Julie and the Phantoms content, which we all absolutely love, and I know you've told the story a few times before, but can you talk about specifically what got you into Julie and the Phantoms and what it is about it that drew you in?
Yeah, so it's so funny because I did not want to watch the show. I did not want to watch it. So many people were talking about it. Like I saw my friend on Twitter, who's also a film student. She's like, watch Julie and the Phantoms. It's such a good show. And I saw that and I was like, okay. Didn't watch it. And I was scrolling on TikTok, minding my business, scrolling on TikTok. And then I saw an edit of Charlie doing the guitar thing. And I was like, who is he? But I still wasn't like interested. I'm like, no, like, okay, he did that. Like, cool. Then a week later, my other friend made a tweet about it. Like, watch the show. And I was like, what is it with the show? Like, why is everyone telling me to watch it? Like, I don't want to watch it. But it was just everywhere. So then I'm scrolling on TikTok again. And then I saw Charlie's Mamma Mia clip. And I was like, ooh, this kid looks like Jesse McCartney. So I looked him up. He was not Jesse McCartney. But then I noticed that Kenny was there as well. So I was like, what is this? Because I love Kenny Ortega. Like, it's literally my entire childhood. So I was at work making the Harry Styles cardigan. So I just literally wanted to like pass time with something. So I put on the show because everyone's like, just watch it. I'm like, okay. I put on the show. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even know they died in the first episode. Like I was so disconnected. And then like I was watching it and I was like, okay, like this is pretty good, but I wasn't paying attention. And then the Perfect Harmony scene came on. And I was like, oh, I get it now because I feel things that I wasn't expecting to feel. And then, I said, this is it. I understand now. So here we are.
I know.
Here we are.
Here we all are, honestly. Something that you just mentioned that I did want to talk about a bit, like throughout the episode, is that I know that you said that you yourself are a film student. Your friend who's a film student like told you to watch this, and I think it's interesting that she recommended Julie and the Phantoms to you because I mean, I myself was not a film major, but I went to school with a lot of film majors, and there's a lot of, I guess, the best way I would describe it is snobbery in terms of, you know, the type of content that they like think is like prestigious and like like, you know, like, and so I just think it's interesting. Like I just really love that you are a fan of what makes you happy. You're a fan
Mhm.
of, you know, the things that bring you joy and the things that entertain you, not necessarily what, you know, the media or,
Yeah.
you know, your professors or whatever tell you is like great you know, cinema. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
But I would really love to dive a little bit deeper sort of into your personal journey as being, I guess, what we call a fangirl, you know, because I know that you said you talked a lot before about how you've sort of been a fangirl like your entire life. You just happened to put your Julie and the Phantoms, like, you know, thoughts and feelings on the internet. And that's
Yeah.
just kind of what ended up going viral. But I just wanted to venture a little bit into like what inspired your journey to who you are today, and like being like an active member in a fandom or being a fan of, you know, whether it be movies, TV shows, like artists and things like that. Is that something that's been consistent like in your life, like since you were young?
Yeah, that's such a good question, Ella. It's so funny because growing up, like everyone knows I'm a big Justin Bieber fan. I have been since I was 12. Like it was a problem. But growing up, like liking Justin when he first came out, when it wasn't cool to like Justin Bieber, it was not cool at all. I was in middle school. I want to say I was in like sixth grade, and I remember vividly um coming out of class one day and people like ripping up my Justin Bieber posters from my locker in front of me and like making fun of my Facebook posts about him and like all the things I was excited for, like literally just making fun of me being a fangirl. Like I used to get bullied for liking Justin Bieber. Middle schoolers are so mean.
They are.
But I remember like it hurt because I was like, you know, it feels like I don't have friends because I literally just like this Canadian that's like 15 years old. Like I'm just a fangirl.
The Canadians.
You know, it's always the Canadians.
It comes together. It comes together.
It's full circle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Canadian.
But it wasn't until I went to his concert, like my very first Justin Bieber concert, and I took my mom with me and she had a good time. And I was like, you know what? If I can get my mom to have fun with me, and she didn't even want to go to the concert, like mom's listening to the album with me. If I can have fun with my mom and like just be myself, it doesn't matter who likes it or not. So then that just ventured into me being more comfortable with liking celebrities, I guess. Because I literally used to get bullied, but it's okay. I'm humble. I'm humble now. It's fine. So yeah, that kind of started, and I'm not like really surprised that I latched onto this show so much because I latch onto things very quickly, especially during a pandemic, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been different because like now I have a platform, which I never wanted to happen. I say that all the time. I'm like, I don't know why y'all are here watching me embarrass myself, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. But now it's like it's weird and it's exciting because it's like I can fangirl with other people because I haven't really been in another fandom since I was like 16, and I didn't want to be in a fandom. I'm like, I'm gonna make these videos and then I'm gonna leave. But no, and it's been great, but it's just like I'm doing it in public now, which is kind of like a whole different thing. Yeah.
And I mean, and that kind of segues like directly into like what I wanted to talk about next, which is sort of the nitty gritty of fandom culture. Because I mean, we're all here because of Julie and the Phantoms. We're all massive fans. You know, we post content about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. Yeah. But as amazing as it is, as much as we get escapism from it, the creativity, like the community that we get from it, can also be very toxic. It has a lot of negative sides, and especially how we as women like interact within it and are treated within the fandom culture. So I wanted to ask you, like, from your own personal experiences thus far, whether it's like what you personally witnessed or experienced, like what are sort of some big faults that you personally see in the way that people behave online and treat celebrities? Because I know it's something that you've been pretty vocal about, like in whether it be in your TikToks or in your lives or anything or stuff like that. So just wanted to like dive in, you know, talk about the pros,
to the
talk about the
dirt.
cons, just get it all out. Yes.
Let's
You
tea.
know, yes, let's dish it out. Yeah.
The biggest thing is misogyny. And I
Period.
love it's misogyny, and I love being I love being 22 years old and like having these experiences that make me realize what misogyny is, because it makes me realize, like, it makes me think back to being 16 and liking Justin Bieber and like how misogynistic that fandom could get over him. So now that I'm aware of what it is, I love that I'm able to point it out and change even my ways. Because we all know I started the show because of Charlie. I saw him. I said he was cute. I'm like, I'm going to watch this show. I'm going to simp because I deserve to. It's been a really bad semester, you know?
Honestly,
So,
though.
Cash,
You
you didn't
know?
have to call me out like that. Come on.
So I was like, I started the show for Charlie. I understood that. Like, he was the first cast member I followed. Cool. But then like the deeper I got into the fandom and the more like I interacted with the cast, like content on Instagram and stuff, I started to think, I'm like, there are so many amazing girls a part of this show. And I feel like I am not showing up for them the way that I'm showing up for these boys, which is disgusting because men are gross. So
Yeah.
like, ew.
The
So
bar for them is so low.
Just
Period.
Yes.
I'm gonna go and pillow on the ground.
like,
Oh, and you're on timeout right now.
and that's what's like so sucky about it, because I'm like, I'm all like girl power and feminism, and I love women and I love to show up for women, and women deserve everything good in this world. But then I just felt like I wasn't there for them. Like, they would go live and I wouldn't run to their lives the way I would run to Charlie or Owen or Jeremy's live. Like, it just felt so ew. It made me so icky. So once I was able to point that out within myself pretty early on, I started to notice that people weren't getting it. And like, especially for Madison, who is a person of color, like, I'm trying to imagine being 16 years old, trying to create content for people that want to support me and love me. And then I go on live and they're asking about this boy, like my
This
co-star.
Canadian
And I was like,
boy.
this Canadian
God.
boy, like, Charlie's dreamy and we all know he's cute, but like I always said, he's a boy. At the end of the day, he's a boy. So misogyny in this fandom has been an issue. I think we're getting better at calling it out, and people are being better at, you know, not being all about the boys, which is good. I'm glad that we are in a generation where it's like we can talk about these things and like educate people without it being like you know, but that's an issue. Sexualization is an issue. Like I said, the boys are really dreamy and they're really cute. And it's maybe because I'm like 22 years old, so I'm literally like around the boys' age. And I realize that they're boys, but certain things on TikTok, even sometimes on Twitter, Charlie talk is a scary place. And that's coming from
Scared to
Charlie.
be on Charlie talk. I'm
is
scared to be there.
It's a scary place. And lately I've been more comfortable because people tag me in a lot of things, but it's made me so uncomfortable being tagged in things where it's like obviously sexualization over the cast and over Charlie specifically. I've been more comfortable like, hey, can you please untag me from this? I don't want to see it. I don't want to interact with it. I don't want other people to think it's okay to tag me in these things, because at the end of the day, they're humans, you know, they're humans, and sexualizing them is gross. It's just gross. And that's why I'm like, it's coming from someone who's literally Charlie's age. And I'm saying it's disgusting, like, stop. But that's been an issue. That's something we need to work on next. But
yeah, I mean, I think like what you just said, like, they're humans first, like that is something that's like just fundamentally missing from a lot of fandom culture. And like, I remember I had discussions about this with my sister who like watched Julie and the Phantoms like once because I forced her to, you know, but I was telling her about all these things that I've been seeing. online, and like the way that people interact with the cast, or the way that they talk about them. And she's like, you do know that that's not something that's just specific to the Julie and the Phantoms like fandom. It's something that's like rampant through all of fandom culture as a whole, and like that kind of misogyny is like deeply rooted in like in fandom culture, in any sort of any genre, any age. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. But I do want to say that like back in, I don't even, this was like maybe like end of October, early November, or something like that, like right as like all of this was all kind of starting for all of us. But like the first person that I ever saw in this fandom like speak up about the misogyny was you, Kash. Like that video that you made, you sitting in your car, you talking about how as a fandom of, you know, girls, gays, and theys, why are we not supporting our girls, gays, and theys, you know, like why? And like that was that video, watching that video, like you said, like I like had to take a look inside and was like, oh, like as much as I like to be someone who like preaches like, you know, supporting the girls, like do I actually embody that, or am I just like, am I just talk? And so like that was like that, like definitely, you know, it made an impact on me. And like, and from that video I like, and you know, weeks following, like so many other people started speaking up about the misogyny and like the things that they were noticing. And something that still to this day kind of like, you know, irks me is that people think that just because you're supporting the women is like we're criticizing you for supporting the guys as much as you do. And like that defeats the whole entire purpose of what we're doing here. Like it's not about not supporting the boys, it's about supporting the girls just as much as we support the boys. And you know, not equating the value of the girls to the boys, you know. So I mean, like
the same thing as like everyone's TikTok yesterday. I swear everyone's TikTok yesterday was just Olivia Rodrigo. And I'm like, how did I get here? I don't know, but I like it here. I'm enjoying it here.
I loved it
like
there.
That's when you saw everyone just come together to support a woman who released something that is special to her, right? And I mean, for it to take Madison almost 5 months to reach 1 million literally is not, that should not be it when she's the main character of the show. Like and I kept getting message, oh, maybe I should follow her now. I'm like, now? Excuse no, she's the first person you should be following. Like, you're late. But again, like it does take one person to speak up for everyone else to notice it. Like it happens
because
with
I definitely have seen like an actual change. I mean, we still have long ways to go, but I definitely have seen a difference in the way that, like, for example, the way that people interact with Maddie or Savannah or something, like on when they do like an Instagram live, you know, they're you know, no longer are they badgering them about the boys, and like the way that they hype them up on like their content, like on TikTok or on Instagram and stuff like that. And so the fact that we are a group of very impressionable people and we're just trying to do our best, and you know, it gives me hope that like that we are actually seeing somewhat of a change, like from people starting to talk about these things and have these conversations. And just going along those lines though, we have said this before, but the part of the reason that this show feels so special to us is that the cast and the crew like interact with us fans in a way that we've never seen with any other show, any other celebrity. And as amazing as that is, because you know, it gives us a level of comfort and a level of like, you know, like escapism and joy, you know, pure happiness, like being able to interact with them in this way. There are people who take it too far, people who cross that line, you know. And so I would love to hear your take on like the invasion of privacy, like the pushing of boundaries, things like that we've seen in like recent months. And again, these are things that are not like that are not singular to the Julie and the Phantoms, you know, community. It's something that's like prevalent through all fandom culture, but like specifically in terms of what you've experienced and witnessed, not just even the cast, but like your own personal experiences with, you know, growing your platform.
Yeah, we love boundaries. It's such a broad word that can be used in a lot of different topics. Even like with talking about like mentioning boundaries, I've thought of, because I've been talking to my friends about this a lot, boundaries even with Madison, like, because I remember I posted something about Madison, hyping her up, you know, and I remember people were commenting like, oh, well, we've already seen this. If you were a Madison stan, if you supported her, then you would have seen this too, blah, blah, blah. The comments are deleted because I'm like, okay, go off, go off. But
Pop off.
pop off, queen. But I was talking to my friends about this, and like we came to like people, it's such a weird thing because Maddie is 16 and I'm 22. Like I can be her big sister. So supporting her, I'm still trying to navigate on like what's too much, like to the point where it's like a little like and what's enough. Because I told this to my friend, I'm like, people, I mean, as they should, people want you to support Madison the same way that we would support Zendaya, you know? Zendaya is my mom. Like I don't even, that's a whole different Zoom. Like I love her so much. Love her to death.
You should,
like,
as you
know,
should.
love her. But Zendaya is 23, 24, like she's a grown woman. So it's like, it's easier, I feel like, to communicate and relate to content about her because I'm around that age. Madison, it's like that, like she is still like Gen Z, but that's a completely different spectrum of Gen Z. So it's like trying to find like appropriate ways to interact with her and hype her up is different. Like it's just different, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but that goes along with boundaries. Like I'm 22. I'm kind of, we're kind of in the middle because there's like fossil fandoms and you have like the people that are still like in middle school, high school, and then there's like the college students who don't know what we're doing with our lives.
Like, why are we doing this?
You know, there's us.
Why are we here?
You know, so it's boundaries with that. Like I still show up to Maddie's lives. I still comment on all of her stuff, but it's like, it's still a different kind of girl support, and that's fine. I'm learning how to be a big sister instead of like simping over Zendaya.
Yeah.
So it's all fun, but then boundaries in the sense of privacy. We can start with the cast first. I'm just so glad that they interact with us because they've allowed me to like see more celebrities as human, if that makes sense. Like I've always viewed them as like respect their privacy, respect their boundaries, but like because they're so active with us, it's made me see them as friends, even though I know we're not. It's like I literally see them as like people I want to protect at all costs, you know? And that goes along with their privacy. I'm like, I don't need to know every single thing about Owen Patrick Joyner. I don't. I mean, it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't mind it, but also I don't need to. Like, that's a lot to digest. Owen's a lot, you know? And same with Charlie. People think because I'm cuckoo for Charlie that I want to know every time he breathes. At the beginning of the fandom, like at the beginning of all this, I did, but I've grown, okay? I've grown and I don't need to know his every last move. Like that goes into privacy. And now I've noticed I've had to put like disclaimers on things because some people don't understand sarcasm on social media. So I'm like, I remember I posted a video. I'm like, so does anyone know when like Charlie's coming back from Galapagos so we can prepare for Charmageddon? Because, you know, like I need to be prepared so I can block him. I need to block him. And so many people, and then I was like, this disclaimer, this is not, don't go look up his flight information. Like this is a joke. Don't look up his flight information. Because I know with the boys being in Hawaii, it was Owen's fault because he posted his whole, anyways, he posted the, like, Owen, really? So I was nervous about that because his itinerary was in, like, he posted it in the comments and he didn't know about it. So people were like, they could see when he was coming back. And that made me so nervous for him. So I was like, okay, disclaimer, I want to know when Charlie's coming back from Galapagos so I can block him from seeing my content, and not because I want to see him at LAX, you know? So
well, it kind of reminds me of like the time like the Jonas Brothers when they were first around and people would like literally, or One Direction, like I remember there were days people were tracking their flight in the air so that they can be at the airport when, and I'm like, do y'all not sleep? Like
kind of also hack the security system.
It's literally stalking. Like it's stalking. And that's where I'm like I get you want to meet these people. And if I lived in LA, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be at LAX. Of course, I would be like, oh my God, I want to go see them. But also, it's like, if they didn't publicly say, hey, come meet me at this place. Also, who wants to meet someone in an airport? I know I hate being in airports. I'm tired. I want to go to bed, and they're so sweet. So of course they're going to be like, okay, like, yeah, let's take pictures, and they're excited. But I'm just like, I always think I bother people anyway. So I'm like, if they're in an airport, that's the last place I want to meet anyone. But that's just a me thing. That's a me thing.
Unless you just happen to both be at the airport at the same time. That's a different story, but not physically going out of your way to go
there. To the airport, you know? And I mean, like, it's fine, because I'm like, that's a whole like fan culture thing. They've been doing that since forever. So yeah, so I get that, but it's, I don't know, I just hate airports so much. But yeah, just respecting, like, I just respect them, like, they're people. And that's why I'm like trying to like push through people's head. Like, I get it, they're dreamy, and I know as a simp I understand, but also they're boys, and they're human. And they get tired, they get frustrated, and it's just a lot to keep up with. And I've noticed that even with myself, like, boundaries, because I'm very transparent, as we all know. I've said things on social media that I wish I never did about the show and Charlie. It's fine, they're privated now. But but like, yeah, it's fine. They're not even, it's not like really, really bad or anything, but it's like, I'm like, ooh, this is a little cringe. Like, what if he sees this? Yeah, I'm like, no. But I've always valued being transparent. Like, I love just being myself, I guess, just because it took me so long to love who I like am. So I love being transparent. I love like just talking about the things that make me happy and being open and honest. And I've been trying to do that a lot more on my platform, like personally. But even then, that gets out of hand and that gets uncomfortable. And it sucks because it makes me feel like I have to like collapse into like a bubble of like, I don't even want to talk about my personal life. Like, for instance, I was on live and I was talking about one of my good guy friends, because most of my friends are guys. They're attractive guys, but they're stupid. So it cancels each other out real quick, you know? But I was like telling all these stories and showing all of these videos of my guy friends on live, and they're like, oh, hang out with them for New Year's. I'm like, okay, like, I should see like what they're doing and stuff. So the whole live, we're talking about my two guy friends. The next day I go back to my Instagram, and people are sending me like my friends' Instagrams, like the guys. And they're like, oh my God, like, they're so cute. Make sure you message them and like ask to hang out with them for New Year's and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I feel a little uncomfy, because like, their Instagrams are public, but it's like, they're my friends and they don't know that I have just spent like an hour and a half talking about them on a live. Like, this is my safe space for me to like simp and fangirl over like my guy friends, you know? So that felt like a big like going over the line kind of thing, where I'm like, okay, like, thank you for like appreciating my friends that I've just talked about, but also it's weird that you're sending me their pictures. And then with the whole everyone thinks I know Charlie Gillespie because he's commented on a lot of my stuff. And now I'm upset at Charlie because he's ruined TikTok for me.
It's the same behavior.
Aren't best friends?
Daya's like, I wish. That's why I was like, every time something like this happens where it's like, oh my God, like, tell Charlie to message me. I'm like, I really wish I could tell Charlie to message me, you know?
Let's put a disclaimer out there.
Like, oh, I wish.
Not a single one of us know Charlie Gillespie personally. We
Sadly.
sadly, that's the thing. Like,
sadly. I'm like, I wish.
We cannot be your messenger pigeons.
We can't.
Like, we can't
We
do
don't
that.
Though, I mean,
don't
like,
have
he
any
does exhibit
contact
some
with
fan
them.
behavior to Cash, so
That's fan behavior.
that's fan behavior that he.
I hate him. But that's the thing. Like, I'm so like, it sounds so like weird. I don't want to say like, oh, I'm used to Charlie like finding my stuff because it's still like every time I see you, like I'm like, Charlie, go away. What is this?
And I'm like, oh no,
You know?
Cannot be here right now.
You know, like this is not your space. But it's changed drastically. Like the first time he ever interacted with anything, like first of all, it was 4 days after I watched the show. So I was a mess. I was like, okay, like, and I'm crushing on this guy. I'm like, how you doing, Charlie? But
Jeffrey,
you know, Charles. But now, just because like obviously I've seen interviews, I've seen the way people talk about him, and like you can kind of get a gauge on like how his personality is. Like he's just this fun, carefree, charming, you know, like guy. So every like when he comments now, it still makes my stomach drop a little bit because I'm like, hey, but now it's just like it's just Charlie being Charlie. And I don't think that he thinks about the things that he types before he sends them. For instance,
Definitely
the
not.
whole
listen to you laugh all day.
like, what is that? Like, and it makes me mad. It makes me mad because I already have trust issues with men anyway. So I saw that the first time and I was like,
excuse
hi.
me.
Like, hey, but then I thought about it and I'm like, coming from Charlie, this is probably like, I can listen to you laugh, ha ha ha. But it's still like, it's like, Charlie, you're wording things this way, and now people think that you want to date me. And I know you don't, because we don't know each other. You know, he doesn't think about these things because he leaves his comments and then he goes away. And then I'm the one that gets left with, oh my God, date Charlie.
What?
It's the way that people see those things and just kind of run with it, you know? Like he left the one comment. You'll need to
Chill.
cool your jets.
And I mean, I get it because I did see that comment and I was like, oh, what is, oh, okay. Then I thought about it and I was like, shut up. Just shut up, Charlie. Shut up. Go away.
It's him being a 22-year-old boy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what
And
it is.
it's also
Anyway, so
Right. And that's the thing, like everyone knows he's like really, really flirty. Like he can't help, I don't want to say he can't help it, but that's just how he is. You know, he's a flirty, charming guy, which is like cool, but this is not, it stresses me out. It stresses me out.
like my takeaway from all of it is that like I just wish that people could, you know, see like what we refer to as simping, you know, or, you know, like being a fangirl and things like that. Like, I just wish that like, especially women, like we can be seen as just genuine admirers of other people or like, you know, in particular men, and not be, you know, painted in a negative light as like, oh, she's such a simp, oh, she's so like, she's obsessed, she's crazy or whatever, as like a crazy fangirl, you know, because that's again the misogyny talking, because it's saying that women are like obsessed with like, you know, every white boy that comes along or whatever, you know. So I just
the new white boy of the month.
Exactly. And I just really wish that like fan culture can, you know, like just remember and like focus on the fact that like for us it's just about like genuine admiration. It's about respecting their art, respecting like the work that they have done, you know, and just like, you know, thanking them for the inspiration that they've given us and things like that, and not just, oh, they're simps, you know. And I know that that's something that you have also touched upon as well, is that like, you know, like as your, you know, TikTok kind of became viral and was like blowing up, like so many people started seeing you like within this tiny box of like just a Charlie simp. And I know that, I mean, you are so incredibly wonderful, so incredibly talented. You have so many amazing things ahead of you. Like we're such massive fans of like of all the things that you will do in your future. But like but you know, it's again the misogyny talking of that, like people like see this small little window of like what you choose to post online and like choose to only see you in that way. So I don't know if you wanted to like touch a little bit upon like sort of that, like I know the other day you called it, I think, an identity crisis on your TikTok live.
Yes, because and that's what I was talking about on my live, because I'm like, I enjoy being authentic and being myself. I remember like my friends were telling me, they're like, so many people interact with you because you always end up saying the things that no one wants to say or wants to post, and you just do it so carefree, like you're funny with it. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all think I'm funny? But like it's, they're like, the way you just talk and invest in things like captures people. And I never really thought, because I'm like, I'm just okay. Like even with the car video, like the one that went viral of me in the car, like doing Luke's guitar solo. That was supposed to go on Snapchat, like me just goofing off. And it was supposed to go in like a montage of me just being in my car singing the show. But something told me, like I was on my way to class, I'm like, I'm just gonna post this on TikTok like right now. Like might as well. I think it's funny. I'm in class, my phone's blowing up. I was like, I wasn't even paying attention to anything. But it's weird because like that's things I do every single day, like not even with Julie and the Phantoms, like driver's license. We're not even talking about driver's license, but the way y'all should see me in my car listening to that. But it's like I just value being authentic and transparent in myself. But that's kind of, it's been hard to navigate like being yourself and then being a simp, because so many people only see me as the girl that fangirls over Charlie, or the girl that Charlie has left a lot of comments like on my videos and stuff. So it's like, I know that most of my following gravitated because Charlie spammed me. Like I didn't realize until my friends told me a couple days ago, actually, they're like, Cash, you got to understand that this show came out in September. You came on TikTok in October. Charlie did not spam people the way that he spammed you that night. And I was like, I didn't know that. I thought this was a regular thing. They're like, no, like he spammed you a lot. He literally commented like 7 times, liked a bunch of videos. And I was so excited that I posted about it, because who else am I going to like talk about this stuff with but TikTok and people that get it, you know? And then my friend was also telling me, they're like, it's not even the fact that he spammed you. He kept coming back. Like even when he would comment on your other videos, that one video of me literally like hyperventilating over him playing guitar. Ew, I'm so embarrassed. It's on private now because I can't look at it. Like,
gone. Ella's gone.
But
Sorry, I
like,
just
I'll
have to
be
plug
honest,
my laptop in.
but like I'll be honest, like the reason I followed you was I can't even, I think it was like you talking about his accent. I think that's the video that I followed you from. And I remember you were getting backlash because like everyone has accents, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, Canadians have accents. It's fine. I am Canadian. I will say it.
Some girl got so offended. She's like, I'm Canadian. I have American friends and they told me that I don't have an accent. I'm like, so you're saying the accents aren't real?
Like, everyone has accents. I have an accent.
I'm like, I have an accent and I'm from Michigan. I'm like, everyone has accents. Even in the show, I don't know what accent Charlie is doing because he sounds like he's all over the place.
Out of pocket.
Out of pocket. You know? So I was just like, I don't, but yeah, like it was things like I was getting backlash for talking about accents. I'm like, okay,
Which
cool.
was super, but like I like that because you were just like, I thought about it and I'm like, no one's gonna care if I post it, so I didn't post it. Like in the this band is backseat when he goes, it's about the music, and he like says it about in a very Canadian way, and I'm like, yeah, hello Canada. But like you posted about
him
it
like that though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but that's been trying to navigate through that because I just didn't know that. I don't like being the poster child for heart attacks, but that's what it was when Charlie just kept, because he would comment, and then like the guitar one of me like, oh my God, like I can't breathe. He watched it, left a comment. So I'm cool. Like the next day, you know, going about my life, minding my business, he comes back, leaves another comment. Oh, I came back to watch this because you're so funny. You just could have watched it. You didn't need to leave a comment, you know? So that's like, apparently that's what like roped a lot of people in, I feel like. And that's why I'm like, I kind of doubt myself. And that's why I was like talking to my friends about this in the first place. Cause I'm like, people see me as a simp. Like the reason that my following even like, I feel like blew up is because of Charlie. and that's why I'm mad at him right now, but it's fine. But they're like, just how it is in other, like in fandoms, like it's weird, but like even in other fandoms, like if the celebrity interacts with them, if you look at their page, they most likely have a big following. And it's weird. I've never understood it, because if I followed every single person that Charlie left a comment or a like on, it'd be a mess. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't get why.
I would just like to say that, like, sure, like Charlie commenting on your videos like might be the reason that you came on my For You page, but I said this to you before, like, it's time to hype Cash up, but like, you are so I can't, my English is failing me. Let's all hype Cash up, because the reason that we follow you and the reason that we're such admirers of you is just you have this natural charisma, and you are so, again, like your desire to be authentic, it really shows and it resonates in so many of us. And like you funny as hell, girl. You funny as hell.
I'm just obnoxious. I'm obnoxious.
And you're literally, I think so many people will like relate to this, but you're like the friend that everybody wants. Like, again, this is me hyping you up, because like I just want to show you love and admiration.
As you should.
And I want you to know that, like, in the eyes of the people that matter and the people that are here for you, like, you are so much more than a simp. You are such an incredibly like talented and wonderful and kind and amazing human being. But I do
just like, know that make me cry.
Please.
In terms of that that like identity crisis, as we said, that you were talking about, I know that, I mean, you're a film major and you want to go into the entertainment industry. Can you talk about sort of like that sort of like dichotomy that you've been feeling in terms of like, I am like known for being like a really avid fan, but I want to be a professional in the industry one day, and what that's been like navigating for you, especially as a student now, and you know, one day budding professional.
Yeah, and that's what like I was, my identity crisis that I called it, because TikTok started as like my safe space. Like, I know it's a public platform and you can see like you can see it's public, so it's technically not a safe space, but for me it was my safe space to go where people could understand what I was saying without thinking I was like psychotic or like super like obsessed or anything. So I'm trying to find the in between, like the middle of still being my authentic fangirl self while still being professional. And that has been so hard for me, because I can go to work and be professional. Like, you see me as a professional, but if you see my content, not even just on TikTok, but on Instagram, on Twitter, that's where I like to, you know, like be a little more loose and be more myself, because it's social media and these are my things. Like, these are the things I want to talk about, you know? But mixing both of them, it like trying to be a professional on social media has always been hard for me, because I'm like, I want my social media to be me. I don't want it to be professional, because if you meet me, you get the professional kind of side. Like, you don't get the simp. I need a new word.
Yeah.
But it's been hard, and I didn't really like think about this until Hillary, she works at Netflix, and she made a post like, oh, send me like your JTP TikToks, like your favorite JTP TikToks, and people were tagging her in mine, and I didn't even know at the time until like I saw the post. So I DM'd her a couple, and I was like, hey, like, these are my favorite Julian Phantoms TikToks, thank you so much for doing this, blah 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 blah. And she's like, oh yeah, like, thanks so much, people are sending me your TikToks actually. And instantly I went cold. I said, which TikToks are they sending? Because if they're sending the ones of me in my car, cool. But if they're sending the ones of me literally hyperventilating over Charlie playing the guitar, that's a little uncomfortable. So I was really nervous about that. And that's a big reason why I went and like privatized a lot of videos. Cause like, not even just because of that, but I'm like, okay, like now that there are people looking at my content even without me knowing, I'm just gonna private it a lot. Not even just because like I think they're bad or like they're inappropriate, but because they make me uncomfortable, like knowing that someone from Netflix is watching this. Like, ugh. So that's been hard because I'm like, I want to be myself on my social media. That's how everything kind of happened for me. But there are people at Netflix that have been watching it. And I'm like, I want to work at Netflix, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even going like with the cast, like we all know Charlie likes seeing this stuff because he's a narcissist. But he loves watching stuff about himself. He said it. He enjoys lurking. Ugh. But I think about other members of the cast seeing this, and I'm like, no, this is so uncomfortable because I actually want to meet them one day. But when I meet the cast, I want to meet them as Kashmir and not as, oh, you're that girl that simps over Charlie. You know, like, cause like, yes, I simp, but so does everyone else. Like, y'all, they be sipping over Charlie too. That's why I'm like, y'all know this man is so cute and so dreamy. So, you know, I'm just like, I just don't know him personally. So I haven't really gotten over it as fast because he hasn't really annoyed me. So it's fine. So yeah, I'm just trying to like figure out a way to, and it's been like, I've been doing better with like just trying to navigate like what I want to do next kind of thing. So like, it's just a thought I'm having right now, but like possibly starting a podcast or possibly like redoing my YouTube and trying to make videos again. It just gets hard because your girl is a grad student and you know, so I'm trying to think of something where it's like, it's not going to take up too much of my time because TikTok is easy. Like I'm in bed most of the time. I make my TikToks like just talking and it's fine. I get out, you know, I still get fulfillment from that. But like actually filming and like recording things and doing like, it's so much time and it's so much effort and you really, really have to be passionate about it. Like I've had a YouTube channel for like 3 years and I'm so inconsistent with it because I get like really, really passionate where I'm uploading like every single week and then it dies down. And I don't want that to happen with what I decide to do next because like I am 22, your girl is about to like look for a job soon in the film industry. So I want to show them that I'm like, hi, like, yeah, on TikTok, you know, I do make videos about a kids show, but also I can do my job just as like, I can be passionate about a professional job, you know? So still trying to figure it out. But it's not I'm not having an identity crisis anymore, I guess. Like I feel a lot better about it. I'm
glad. I mean, and you sort of touched upon already what I was hoping to ask you next about like what we can expect from you in the future. And I'd like just want to put it out there that like one day I hope to be looking back on this episode of Girl Stuff and being like, Kash said she was gonna do all those things and she did them. Yes, ma'am. We are so incredibly excited and happy to be here to support you in all that you do. And like whether it be podcast, whether it be YouTube, whether it be like more content on TikTok, like we just know that you just have so much ahead of you and we're so excited to see like anything that you do. You're like the type of person who I will have on in the background like just anytime, any day, like while I'm working, while I'm eating, like I was
gonna say like we're usually on a call together and you go live and we all just mute ourselves and we're like, oh, watching you on the live and we're all working.
We're like, oh, guess we have to mute ourselves because we're all watching Kash's live at the same time.
Can you tell how much we love you or like
Stop. So annoying.
No, ma'am. We will not.
We literally are your like number one supporters. We are there through it all.
Honestly, I'm not kidding.
Automatic mute.
Literally, like if like I look up and like I'm working and I have you on and I look inside, everyone's just muted looking at their phones or doing something, and I know but we can see each other in your live, so we look at each other and giggle. It's because like we see each other.
My favorite thing is when is when we have conversations with each other in your comments of your live while we're on Google Meet with each other. It's so funny, isn't it?
That's what happens. Like most of the time I'll be on like FaceTime with like Alondra and Ivy and Carol. They'll be in the comments too. I'm like, I'm right here.
Well, that's actually also a really wonderful segue into what I wanted to touch on next too, which is the community that we have all found through being a fan, which like again goes to, you know, the more positive side of fandom culture is that you find people that you bond with and connect with. And I mean, the 5 of us who started Girl Stuff together, we met through Julie and the Phantoms, and you know, we literally get separation anxiety when we spend like more than a day without seeing each other. And I know that you kind of had a similar experience in which you found a sort of tribe of people that you consider like your best friends now. So I was wondering if you wanted to just like talk about like what that has been like for you, especially because this all happened during a pandemic. So yeah, I would love to hear you. Like,
it's so weird because not that I didn't want any friends. Wow.
Friends.
Okay, KASH is coming out.
We're from the Midwest. Leave us alone.
The Midwest.
I don't even know what word I was trying to combine that with. Anyway,
It's amazing.
not that I didn't want any friends from this, but I just didn't expect to have any because I posted my videos. I just made my TikToks and then I left and then like went about life. But then I would get so many messages like, hey, can we add you to this group chat? Or can you like, you want to FaceTime or do you want to Zoom? And I'm like, oh, wow, anxiety. Like, I don't, and it's so, because it's online. So it's like knowing like actual people makes it like a little easier where it's like, okay, let's Zoom, let's talk to each other. But I haven't been in like a fandom since Justin Bieber, like hardcore to like have fan pages about it. So I was like 16 when I gave like all that stuff up. So being 22, I remember calling my mom. I'm like, Mom, is 22 years old like too old to be in a fandom? Like, is this okay? Like, because I'm like,
pick me up. I'm scared.
you know, I'm like, because I'm having a great time, but now people actually want to be my friend and we can like to talk about this show. And I just don't know if I like, is this appropriate? So, and she's like, well, is this making you happy? Like just talking to people make you happy? I'm like, yeah, we're in a pandemic. I'm not talking to anyone but my counselor right now.
Rude.
You know? So she's like, just do it. Like, just do it. I'm like, okay, got Mom's blessing. So I remember, and Ivy will not let me live this down because she sent me a message and she's like, hey, can we add you to this Julie and the Phantoms group chat on Snapchat? I personally hate group chats because I'm never active in them. I don't like, it's a weird pet peeve, but like instant beeping and buzzing drives me insane. You know, when you get in your car and like there are some cars where if you don't wear your seatbelt, it just beeps the whole time. Some people can forget about it. Like they just, I can't, I hear it and it drives me insane. And I think that's why I hate group chats. And most of the time when I'm in group chats, it's on do not disturb, not because I don't want to like see what they're saying, you know, not because I don't want to like see what you're saying. It's just the beeping and the buzzing like back.
Especially,
oh my God.
If the people in the group chat, if you don't know all of them personally, that's like where I'm like, where I'm just like, I don't, do not disturb.
Yeah, because it's like now with my friends, if the group chat is like going off, I'm like, okay, someone said something funny, let me go read them. Something happened, there's tea, great. But like starting out in that, I was like, what are we talking about? I don't know any of you. So, you know, and so Ivy reached out to me like, do you want to be in this Snapchat group chat with us? And apparently I left her on red. Apparently I left her on red, but in my defense, that was like the third time someone asked me to be in a group chat that day. So it wasn't until, I'm sorry, Ivy, it wasn't until another person that actually lives in Michigan I noticed her like commenting on a lot of my stuff. She's like, yeah, I go to this school, which is like an hour away from me. She's like, and I'm in this group chat, like, do you want to join it? And I was like, okay, like, might as well, like, just try. She's from Michigan, so it's like at least someone from my hometown, you know? I joined the group chat and Ivy's in there, and I felt so bad because I'm like, I just left this girl on red, and she just asked me to be a part of the same group chat, but it's fine. I ended up latching on to Ivy really, really like fast, and Ivy is like the heart of the friend group because like I know all of my friends that I have now because of Ivy. Like I met Alondra through Ivy, I met Carol through Ivy, and it's just like Ivy's just like so like she's just like let's like be friends and let's talk and let's FaceTime. Whereas I'm like, oh, we're gonna test this out to see if like I can talk to you and like the conversation can work before I just like hop on a FaceTime with you. Because fun fact, I hate FaceTiming. I hate FaceTiming. I don't like it. It's so weird. But now, when I tell you I'm literally on FaceTime with these group of girls every single day, all day long, and I'm never bored, even when it's like,
sometimes usually it's like just all of us on mute and we're just doing our own things, but we're still so comfortable with each other. Like literally when we open our eyes to when we go to bed, like it's because I also like never like my FaceTime, like if you go through my history, like before like I met these girls, I never used it ever. Like I was like, text me or don't contact me kind of person.
Yes, because my friend would call me all the time, like my real friend that I know in person. She FaceTimes a lot, but she FaceTimes to say stuff like, oh, do you like this jacket? Like, do you think this jacket is cute? And I'm like, honey, you could send me a picture. Like, send me a picture, text me. But it's like, I'm so used to her doing it. And she knows now, she's like, I get it. Like, if you don't answer, I'm just going to text you. So we have a good understanding and I love her to death. But it's weird because I remember I was talking to her and I felt so bad because she knows I hate FaceTiming. But she's like, so do you just like FaceTime like your JTB friends like all day, every day? Like, even when you're not doing anything? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, cool. And I felt so bad because she knows that like when I'm on the phone with her, we can stay and we can talk for a minute, but then I'm like, all right, bye. And I felt so bad. And that's where I'm like trying to like, it's weird. It's weird.
It is weird. It's different.
So weird. But I also like really love it.
I think it's a comfort of like knowing you won't be judged for what you're gonna say or what you're gonna do. Like if Ella whips out the guitar, we're like, cool, Ella's going back into music. We're gonna leave her for 15 minutes. Or like, you know, Mel goes to bed halfway through and like covers up and we're like, cool, she's taking a quick nap. Or, you know, like it's, you could do whatever you want and there's no like judgment or like question about like what is she doing, you know?
Right. And then that's what's with oh my god, I remember because the same friend, she had like her Christmas gathering or whatever, and of course that day Owen and Charlie decided to go live.
I was at Target when that happened. I was like, what the heck?
And I just drove to Indy, like 3 hours to Indiana. I was so excited to like be around like actual people and like and mingle and like just talk, be around people, you know. Owen and Charlie went live. I dropped everything and I said, this is a problem. Like I remember because Owen went live for a couple seconds. Well, not a couple seconds. He was on for, I'm proud of him. He was on for more than like 15 seconds. Cool. But I remember like I'm upstairs and then I get the notification that Charlie went live and that was the rave live.
So my fave.
Yeah, my favorite, right? I literally went downstairs. Like there are people upstairs, like everyone's having a good time. I went downstairs to the basement so I could hear Charlie to watch this live. And I remember my friend telling me, Cash, be present. Like you can watch the live another day. And I'm like, I know, but like I'm at a rave right now. Like, and it's that kind of thing. So it's like trying to like even navigate between like real social circles and this cast that I've never met. It's because I dropped everything. I'm literally like at a party, a little tipsy. I said, oh, Charlie's live. I'm just gonna go close myself off in this basement to be there for him.
Did you at least party with him? Like, did you dance a little bit? you know?
was so funny because Ivy is so messy. Ivy was so messy because like I was in Charlie's live and he was like raving and I'm like, this is perfect because I'm drunk. So I was watching it and I was like texting my friends at the same time. So Ivy kept commenting like, guess Cash.
I saw that. I kept
They're
seeing
like,
that.
I
I was like,
remember
do it.
seeing those comments. I remember them.
and they always do that. Like whenever Charlie, it's just like a haha sarcasm kind of thing. Like guessed her, but this time just because I was not there mentally, they were like, I was down for it. I sent in a request and everything, and usually I went to it. But I was like, might as well. I'm like, I want to rave with Charlie, so that happened. But it's just like a weird thing. It feels like we're all in like a sorority house, even though we've never met each other at all. Like one day. It's so weird. I just got the vibe. Yeah, one day like this week, I remember like I had just gotten up, I was brushing my teeth. Liv was driving to work or something. Alondra just got up, she was making breakfast or doing something. Ivy was doing like we were all just doing like our own, like getting ready for the day. Carol had just gotten out of the shower, like her hair is like and I looked at all of us and I'm like, this feels like a little sorority house. Like we're all getting ready, like it's so weird.
Sometimes Taylor leaves us on Google Meet and is like, I'm gonna go get food, can you watch my house? And we're like, what's your house? If your house burned down,
It's literally just her empty room and she's just like, and she comes back and she's like,
Sometimes
hey.
too, I'm like, y'all guys, I gotta go get food, I'll be right back, I'm running to the store, like I'll see ya, watch my house.
And like you said, I mean, I like had like a very similar experience, and I swear to God, Cash, we're like the same human being. Sometimes I'm like, what the frick? But like, I also like I struggled with social anxiety like a lot growing up, and like into adulthood, where like making close, like deep friendships was something that I struggled with a lot, and like, and the fact that it happened so quickly and so intensely in such a small amount of time, and like the way that like these girls have like allowed me to like you know, sort of like push beyond like my like comfort zone and to like, you know, form these beautiful friendships.
And that's what's so like insane about it, because I've struggled like in my friend group, like on my birthday, it felt like I lost everyone, like all of my personal friends, just because like we had a big like conflict kind of thing. And so like I've been here in school and I'm the only one in grad school. So it's like trying to make friends during a pandemic has been like impossible, it feels like. So then like to meet these group of girls who I've never like actually met a day in my life, and they've been there so much for me, like just support wise, like if anything negative happens, like they're the first to say something. Like I remember something was happening on Twitter where people were like, not a fan of me. My friend Liv made an entire Twitter account, like just to like reply to that person and be like, hey, cut it out. Like you don't know her. She's my friend. I know her. Like relax, you know? And it's so weird because I'm like, I've known these girls for like 3 months. And it feels like it's been years and we haven't actually been in person. And I'm such like a vibe, like energy kind of person. So I'm like, I need to feel people's energy to make sure that I can be around them. So getting that through Zoom or FaceTime has been so fulfilling, because I'm an extrovert and I'm really big into physical touch. That's why I'm like all about like energy. Like we don't, physical touch in the sense for me doesn't even mean like, oh, you have to be touching me. Like just be in my space, in
physically
my presence,
being
and like
there.
it's the energy that I feel, you know, like you don't have to touch me, but I feel your energy. Oh, I love languages. But so it's like having that through this, something I didn't think was even possible, has been so, oh God, they're blowing me up right now it's a separation anxiety. So the fact that I know that I'm going to call these girls every single day for a while, and we're all kind of worried because they were like, oh, we go back to school soon, how is this going to work? And I'm like, send me your schedules, like I need to know like what when you have breaks.
That's literally me. I go back to work in the office like starting next week because I've been working from home, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to like be on FaceTime 24/7 with you now. Like what am I going to do?
It's so weird.
But it's also really like beautiful thing that like you know, after everything that all of us have went through, like with this pandemic, like knowing that like at the other end of it, we have like, you know, we're going to be able to meet all these people in person, like being able to like have all these, like Hannah and I are literally planning on moving in together eventually, you know? So like it's
anyone can come live. Cash, you can come too.
It's
if you get that job at Netflix,
yes,
we got you.
Yes,
come to Vancouver with us.
It's so great. It's
yeah.
giving me like more of, I want to travel now, just because we all live in like different places. Like Alondra lives in California, so she lives in a cool place. We're all like Midwest, so we're all like, we're gonna visit Alondra. We're gonna go visit Alondra, and she's gonna take us to see some leopard sharks, even though I'm terrified of sharks, but she loves them. So it's like, it's giving me something to look forward to. And I haven't looked forward to anything, just because I graduated during a pandemic, and to me that was like, I was done after that. I'm like, I'm not looking forward to anything. I graduated on Zoom. I'm okay.
I didn't even get a Zoom graduation. They were like, we'll have it in August, and then they just
they didn't. That's when I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done. They kept like trying to postpone it. I'm like, it's fine. I got my expensive piece of paper. It's fine. I'm okay. The experience is ruined.
But I mean, just thinking, just to kind of start wrapping things up, because we've been talking for a while now. Time has flown by. But just in terms of things to continue to look forward to, I mean, it is Saturday, January 9th. The show has been out for almost 4 months tomorrow, I think, yet we still have not gotten a season 2. And I mean, at one point I was convinced that Cash worked for Netflix because of the way that she was marketing for Julie the Bitch.
Cash, is there something you're not telling us? I wish. That's the thing too. I'm like, this show has made me want to change like everything. I'm like, I think I want to go into marketing now, because I'm doing someone else's job for free, you know?
I think that you can be Netflix's marketing person. You should be Charlie and Owen's PR person, because
please.
That's so funny. But just in terms of hopefully what we can look forward to in terms of like when we get a season 2, like any like hopes or expectations or theories or anything like that you want to share with the class.
Or a storyline you want to see develop, or anything.
Yeah, I'm excited for Sasha to completely carry this next season. I don't want to say carry, because Maddie's gonna carry it, but Sasha, this kid amazes me so much. And like secondary characters in general, like Carrie, I'm really excited to see what they do with her. Like just more with like the supporting characters, even more with Flynn and like Reggie and Alex's background. Like I want like we got Luke, we got Julie, which was needed for this first season. But now that we know them, let's talk more about like other people's backgrounds. I'm excited for Sasha to portray being Caleb. I am so excited, just because this kid is so talented, and his style in real life, like the way they're going to dress Sasha Soyan. Like I'm so excited. Soyan. He is such a king. He's so talented. I can like hear them giving like Sasha like this like villain like song, and I hear like, oh my God, I'm so
he totally
excited.
Kill it.
He's going to kill it. I'm so excited to just see him shine. Just because like, yeah, I'm a shipper of Juke, and it's like, I know I shouldn't, because Luke isn't real, like blah, blah, blah. Like I should like Nick. And I didn't have a problem with Nick. I was just all about, you know, Team
Charlie.
Juke, you know? Yeah,
Charlie.
And all I want to see in season 2 is like a guitar riff off between Luke and Nick.
Do you know how amazing, dude? I don't think any of us would be alive. Imagine how iconic that will be, because on paper it'll already be like pretty like a great idea, but knowing like, because Sasha's talented, and then knowing that Charlie's the one that even wanted to do the like guitar, like all of my favorite parts that like Luke did in the show, like finding out that Charlie's the one that like suggested those, like even the guitar riff, iconic. So trying to seeing those two like come together and like bounce ideas off of each other, it's going to be so iconic.
Oh, it's gonna be like
so
Nothing
excited.
to Lose on steroids, honestly, because those Nothing to
literally
insane. So like Sasha playing, I'm ready. We only got the one scene of her playing, and it was only in the first episode, and it's not fair.
Yeah, Sasha is a king. I love and appreciate him as a big sister.
Yes,
but
let's make that clear.
I just love
Always.
how passionate he is. Like if you see like his posts on Instagram, like whenever he's playing guitar, he just loses himself. And I love seeing artists just like oh my God, let me stop fangirling over Sasha. Like I'm just so proud of him. I'm so proud.
I mean, along those lines, I think that like all of us, like as a fan base, like just because of how attached we've become in the past couple months, like with them, like we are just so excited to see, just because we know that this is only the beginning and they're gonna do so much more. Like it's like hey, there's a reason that High School Musical 2 and High School Musical 3 are better than the first one. It gets better as you go.
Yep. So hopefully we get a season 2.
You just called them out.
Yeah. We just keep calling Kenny out for High School Musical. I'm so sorry, Kenny.
I'm so sorry, Kenny. Kenny, you're my idol. I literally.
It's fine. It's
This
fine.
is like the second episode we've been doing this, guys. We need to calm ourselves.
It's fine. It's all love. It's all love. But yeah, I don't know. Season 2, I just really want Netflix to stop playing with my emotions. Because I get it. It's all about like budget and numbers. Like I've been learning so much about how Netflix like works with renewing shows. And apparently it's like budget to like viewer ratio or something. So like we all know their budget is probably like up there because of like all the special effects. But I'm just like, okay, like, well, maybe in season 2, we don't need to see Luke's head going through a cabinet door. Like if that'll cut down the budget some so we can get a season 2, you know, Julie can touch them now, Julie can touch them now. So maybe we don't need all those special effects with them, like trying to touch hands. We don't need that. If that means that will cut down the budget so we can get a season 2, cut out all the special effects. I don't care anymore. Like just give me something, please.
Yeah.
And
I
that's all I
who said this, but like somebody asked someone like, what do you want to see in season 2? And they were like, I don't care what you show me in season 2, just give me a season 2.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, because you like for Julie and the Phantoms, like, like they're more people are watching it. So it's like, I don't doubt that they don't have good numbers. But I was reading this thing I've been learning so much about Netflix. It's actually really exciting. But like usually when a show like airs, like they give it like the first month or so, and like they see how the viewer number is. And if it's like, that's how shows get renewed so fast. Like if they're if they have a smaller budget, they're easier to get renewed for a season 2. Julie and the Phantoms budget is probably not small because of all that stuff. So they probably didn't get the numbers they needed the first month or 2 that the show was out because people were just now getting into it. But what makes me mad, and I'm so certain of this, I'm like, it sucks because I was even a month late to watching Julie and the Phantom. So I missed out, but I'm like, if season 2 came out, no doubt they would have the numbers that they needed for even a season 3.
They get enough to like confirm a 4th season, to be honest. Like
literally. So I'm like, I get it, because like it's all about money and numbers, and like you didn't get X amount probably within like a certain time frame. But I'm like, I literally plan on taking a flight to California and renting an Airbnb with my Julie and the Phantoms friends, not fans, Jesus, just to watch season 2 if we get one. I plan to travel to watch season 2 with people. Like, it's insane. So I'm like, Netflix, I get it, but also like, we won't let you down with season 2. The numbers will be there. The numbers will be there.
The money will, like the amount of money that I will drop, the amount of money that I will drop on a concert ticket for this show, like it will be there. I promise.
Let's not talk about my price range for that.
At this point, it's not even my money; it's my mom's money.
It's bad.
Oh my god!
Like
I'm gonna go
the amount of money I've already dropped on merch, and it's fine. We don't need to talk about it. I'm embarrassed. Fine. It's fine. So yeah, hopefully season 2 happens. I just need Netflix to like come on, like we promise we'll show up better for
Don't
season
be
2.
It's
Like,
it's funny because like all of their posts that have anything doing the Phantoms related, you just see all of us. So when is
all the
season 2
comments.
coming? So when's
Even the ones without that
Literally.
zero mention of
like,
Julie the Phantom, the comments are just spams of people asking for
Renew
Julie the
season 2. Renew
Phantom.
season 2. Renew season
literally.
2.
So it's like you see the fan support. So I don't know what's taking them so long. I don't get it. I'm like, I get we're in a pandemic and shooting musicals is kind of like really, really hard because of like all the people and stuff. But I'm like, even if we get season 2 and we don't get it until like 2023, like that's
we just need
fine.
to know there's hope. We need the hope of the season 2.
At this point, you know, like I need to know, am I getting it or not? So like I can figure out the rest of my life kind of
well,
thing,
you know,
yeah.
if we don't get it, we'll just create it. You know, you're a film student. I like to say I was a graphic designer. Like Ivy does, she does concerts or something. Question mark. Sorry, Ivy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she wants
everything.
She wants to shoot concerts.
Yeah, there we go. So she could do like the music side of things. You know, we can create a season 2. We don't need Netflix.
And apparently, since I'm besties with Charlie, I can like give him a call and be like, "Hey, Luke,
the man out.
Hey, you wanna hop up to the Midwest for a hot second?
You wanna
season 2?
imagine that. I'm gonna be like, you wanna show up for season 2? He's like, what? He's season 2?
He's like, who are you?
Yeah, it's funny. It's gotta be great.
Well, is there anything that you would like to say just to wrap things up? Anything you'd like to say to anyone watching? Just a little message for us.
Respect the cast.
Yes, ma'am.
Pray for season 2.
Yes,
Respect content creators, like everyone. Respect their boundaries. And just love each other. We're in a really, really good community of people, and it's been great. It saved so many people. It saved me. It's insane to even think about. I don't know. And support Girl Stuff podcast because y'all are great. And I really, really appreciate being the first guest. I know I talk a lot, so I don't even know why. I'm sorry to whoever has to edit this.
You're good. I could listen to you
Like,
talk all day. I'm a pull at Charlie. I could listen to you talk all day.
No. That's so funny because next time you post something, I hope you laugh so I can like comment that. I can listen to you laugh all day. I'm about to start spamming Charlie. I'm about to do it.
Please,
Just for fun.
I need you to, please.
We'll hype you up. Don't worry, I got you.
He's gonna block
We'll be there with you.
But yeah,
Well,
just thank y'all so much. Thank you.
Thank you again for
you.
being our first guest. It's been so much fun. It's been the most amazing time.
You're the special.
Hopefully, I mean, and you know, like we've said many times, we are so excited to support you and all the other things that you do. Hopefully, we'll see your face on Girl Stuff podcast again in the future. And thank you to everyone who's watching. I'm sure everyone is already following KASH, but if you're not, make sure you do so you can have your eyes out on everything that is coming for you in the future. So thank you everyone for watching.
And that's Girl Stuff.